Dr. Han Jae-yun stared at her computer screen in the quiet laboratory of Seoul's Global Health Institute. The clock on the wall showed 2:30 a.m., but she couldn't leave. Not when the data showed something so strange. For the past week, hospitals worldwide had reported an unusual number of respiratory infections. At first, everyone thought it was just another flu season. But Jae-yun knew better. "This can't be natural," she muttered, adjusting her glasses. The pattern was too perfect. The infections appeared in every major city at almost the same time. Nature was never this organized. Her phone rang, making her jump. The caller ID showed Park Do-hyun, Space Agency. Jae-yun frowned. Why would the Space Agency's commander call her at this hour? "Dr. Han speaking," she answered. "Dr. Han, I apologize for calling so late." Commander Park's voice was tense. "But we need you at the Space Agency immediately. Something has happened that might be connected to your research." 30 minutes later, Jae-yun stood in the Space Agency's control room. Large screens covered the walls, showing star maps and strange signal patterns. Commander Park, a tall man in a neat uniform, pointed to one of the screens. "3 hours ago, our deep space monitoring station picked up these signals," he explained. "They're not random. They're not natural. Dr. Han, we're receiving messages from someone out there." Jae-yun's heart beat faster. "Commander, I think these signals and my infection data are connected." She opened her laptop and showed him the disease spread patterns. "Look at this. The infection started exactly 1 week after your station detected the first weak signals from space." As they talked, one of the technicians shouted, "Commander, the signal strength is increasing." Suddenly, every screen in the room flickered. A deep artificial voice filled the room, speaking in perfect Korean. "People of Earth, we are the Nexus. Your planet has been chosen for colonization. Your species has been evaluated and found unsuitable for coexistence." The room fell silent. Jae-yun's hands trembled as she typed notes on her laptop. The voice continued. "The process has already begun. Your primitive immune systems will soon fail. This is not war. This is evolution." Commander Park grabbed his phone, already calling the president. Jae-yun opened her disease tracking program, watching as new cases appeared across the globe. The infection rate was doubling every hour now. "Commander," she said, her voice steady despite her fear, "I need full access to all hospital data worldwide. If these aliens sent something to attack our immune systems, we need to understand what we're fighting." Park nodded, already writing authorization codes. "You'll have everything you need. Set up your team here. We've got secure labs in the basement." As she hurried to the laboratory level, Jae-yun's mind raced. Humanity had just made first contact with aliens, and they wanted to wipe out the human race. But something didn't add up. If the Nexus were advanced enough for space travel, why use a biological weapon? And why announce their presence at all? In the lab, Jae-yun began examining blood samples from infected patients. Through her microscope, she saw something that made her gasp. The virus wasn't destroying cells like normal pathogens. It was changing them. But into what? The next few hours were a blur of tests and data analysis. As the sun rose over Seoul, Jae-yun made her first breakthrough. The virus was unlike anything on Earth, but human immune cells were already learning to fight it. In fact, they were doing more than fighting. They were adapting in ways she'd never seen before. She picked up her phone to call Commander Park. Maybe the Nexus had made a crucial mistake. They didn't understand human biology as well as they thought they did. And that mistake might be humanity's only hope for survival. Outside her lab window, the morning traffic flowed normally. People were going to work, unaware that Earth was under attack. Jae-yun watched them, feeling the weight of knowledge on her shoulders. The next few days would determine if humanity had a future, and somehow, she knew she would be right in the middle of it all. 3 days after the Nexus message, Dr. Lee Min-soo walked through the crowded emergency room of Seoul National Hospital. Every bed was full. The sound of coughing filled the air. Nurses rushed back and forth, wearing protective suits that reminded him of spacesuits. Min-Soo checked his tablet. The numbers were getting worse. Not just in Seoul, but everywhere. London, New York, Tokyo, Sydney. The virus was spreading faster than any disease he had ever studied. His phone buzzed. It was a message from Dr. Han Jae-yun. Come to Lab 7. Found something important. He found Jae-yun bent over a microscope in the secure laboratory. She looked tired, with dark circles under her eyes. Empty coffee cups littered her desk. Look at this, she said, pointing to her computer screen. The virus isn't natural. Someone designed it. Min-Soo looked at the images. The virus structure was unlike anything he had seen before. It was too perfect, too structured. You're right, he said. No natural virus looks like this. That's not all, Jae-yun continued. She pulled up another screen showing a map of the world. Red dots covered every continent. The virus appeared in every major city at exactly the same time. The Nexus must have released it into the atmosphere before they sent their message. Min-Soo sat down heavily in a chair. They're trying to weaken us before they arrive. The laboratory door opened. Commander Park Do-hyun entered, looking serious. Doctors, we have new information. Our satellites have detected objects entering the solar system. Large objects. They'll reach Earth in about 2 weeks. They're ships? Jae-yun asked. Park nodded. We think so. And there's more. The Nexus sent another message. They want to show us something. The commander pressed a button on the wall. A large screen came to life. The artificial voice they had heard before filled the room. Humans of Earth, your existence is inefficient. Your bodies waste energy fighting disease. We will help you evolve, or you will die. Watch and understand. The screen showed images from inside a Nexus ship. The aliens looked almost mechanical, with smooth gray skin and large eyes. They lived in perfectly clean rooms. No bacteria, no viruses, no disease. Now we understand, Min-Soo said quietly. They think they're perfect because they destroyed all diseases in their world. They want to do the same to us. Jae-yun shook her head. But they don't understand human biology. Our immune systems need to fight diseases to stay strong. We evolved alongside viruses and bacteria for millions of years. As they watched, more patients arrived at the hospital, but something strange was happening. Some people who got sick were getting better much faster than others. Their bodies were fighting back in unexpected ways. Min-Soo studied the latest blood tests. Jae-yun, look at this. In some patients, their immune systems aren't just fighting the virus. They're changing it. Commander Park received an urgent call. His face grew pale as he listened. The president is sick, he said after hanging up. The virus reached the Blue House. Jae-yun stood up suddenly. We need more data. Commander, can you get us access to medical records from other countries? I have a theory, but I need to check something. As Park made calls, Min-Soo noticed something on his tablet. The infection rate. It's slowing down in some areas. Not much, but it's definitely slowing. Outside the laboratory, Seoul continued its daily life. But now more people wore masks, and the streets were less crowded. The silent invasion had begun. But humanity wasn't losing. Not yet. Something unexpected was happening inside the bodies of millions of infected people. The question was, could they figure out what it was before the Nexus ships arrived? Ki Ta-won sat in the main laboratory of Seoul National Hospital, reviewing patient data for the 10th time that day. As the lead epidemiologist, he had studied many disease outbreaks, but this one was different. The patterns made no sense, at least not at first. Dr. Han. He called out to Jae-yun, who was working nearby. I think I found something important. Jae-yun walked over to his workstation. Her face showed the strain of working 14-hour days, but her eyes remained sharp and focused. Look at these recovery rates, Ta-won explained, pointing to his screen. In every city, about 30% of infected people recover within 3 days. Another 40% take longer but survive. The remaining 30% become seriously ill. That's not how viruses usually work, Jiayun said, leaning closer to study the data. Exactly. Natural viruses show more random patterns. This is too structured. Taiwan pulled up another chart. But here's the really strange part. The people who recover quickly. Their immune systems aren't just fighting the virus. They're learning from it. In the next room, Dr. Lee Min-soo worked with blood samples from recovered patients. Through his microscope, he watched as human immune cells encountered the alien virus. Instead of just attacking it, the cells seemed to study it, adapt to it, and then change themselves. It's like watching evolution happen in real time. Min-soo said as Commander Park entered the room. The virus is teaching our immune systems new tricks. The commander looked concerned. The Nexus ships will arrive in 10 days. We need answers before then. Jiayun joined them, bringing Taiwan's data. Commander, I think we're starting to understand what's happening. The Nexus made a serious mistake. They designed this virus based on their own biology. But human bodies work differently. She walked to the whiteboard and drew a simple diagram. The Nexus eliminated all diseases from their world. Their bodies never had to adapt or change. But humans evolved alongside thousands of viruses and bacteria. Our immune systems are built to learn and grow stronger. Taiwan added, that's why some people recover so quickly. Their immune systems are particularly good at learning. Instead of making us weaker, the virus is making us stronger. Suddenly, all the phones in the laboratory began to ring at once. The hospital's emergency system was sending alerts. Commander Park answered first, his face growing pale. The president, he said. The president is recovering, and the doctors say something is different about her blood work. They rushed to the secure medical wing where the president was being treated. Dr. Kim, the chief medical officer, met them outside her room. Her immune system has done something unprecedented, Dr. Kim explained. The virus tried to change her cells, but her body turned the process around. It's using the virus's own mechanisms to strengthen itself. Inside the room, the president sat up in bed, looking tired but alert. The monitoring equipment showed strong vital signs. More importantly, detailed scans revealed that her immune system had developed new capabilities. We need to study this immediately, Jiayun said. And we need to find others like her. People whose bodies learn to use the virus instead of just fighting it. Commander Park checked his phone. Similar reports are coming in from other countries. London, Moscow, Beijing, New York, all reporting cases where patients haven't just recovered, but seem to have grown stronger. Taiwan looked at the latest global data. The Nexus wanted to eliminate what they saw as our weakness, our constant battle with disease. Instead, they gave us a tool to become stronger than ever. Outside the hospital windows, the evening sun painted the sky orange. Somewhere up there, the Nexus ships were approaching, carrying beings who thought they understood human biology. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. Deep beneath Seoul's streets, in the secure laboratory complex, Dr. Han Jiayun stared at test results that could change everything. Her team had been working nonstop for days, studying blood samples from recovered patients. What they found was extraordinary. Kim Hae-jin, a young research assistant who had shown remarkable insight throughout the crisis, pointed to a complex diagram on her computer screen. Dr. Han, look at this protein sequence. The virus isn't just being defeated, it's being reprogrammed. Jiayun leaned closer, her eyes widening. The data showed something unprecedented in medical history. Human immune cells weren't just fighting the alien virus. They were turning it into a tool for making themselves stronger. Get Dr. Lee and Ki Taiwan here immediately, Jiayun said, reaching for her phone. They need to see this. Within minutes, the team gathered around Hae-jin's workstation. Dr. Lee Min-soo examined the protein diagrams while Taiwan reviewed the patient data. The room was silent except for the soft hum of computers. "This is incredible," Min Su finally said. "The virus was designed to rewrite human DNA, to make us more like the Nexus. But our immune systems are rewriting the virus instead." Hai Jin pulled up another screen showing microscope images. "Watch what happens when the modified virus encounters healthy cells," she said. The screen showed the virus entering human cells, but instead of causing damage, it was strengthening them. Commander Park arrived as they were discussing the implications. "The Nexus ships will reach Earth in 6 days, he announced. "What have you found?" Jia-Yun stood up, her face showing both excitement and concern. "Commander, we've made a breakthrough. The Nexus created this virus to eliminate what they saw as human weakness, our constant fight against disease. But that fight is actually our greatest strength." She walked to the main display screen and brought up a simple diagram. "Human immune systems are adaptable. We've spent millions of years learning to fight new threats. The Nexus, living in their sterile environment, lost that ability. They thought they were perfect, but they became vulnerable instead." Taiwan added, "The virus was supposed to rewrite our DNA to match theirs. Instead, human bodies are using it to become even better at fighting disease. We're not just surviving the attack, we're growing stronger because of it." Suddenly, warning lights flashed throughout the complex. Commander Park's phone buzzed with urgent messages. "The Nexus are broadcasting again," he said, turning on the main communication screen. The artificial voice filled the room. "Your resistance is surprising but futile. Our biological attack was meant to be merciful. Now we will arrive sooner than planned. Prepare for direct intervention." But something was different this time. In the background of the transmission, they could hear sounds that seemed like coughing. "They're sick," Hai Jin whispered. "Some of the recovered patients must have sent the modified virus back through their communication channels." Jia-Yun's mind raced with possibilities. Their own weapon is being turned against them, and they have no natural defenses. She turned to Commander Park. "We need to get this information to every research facility on Earth. Humanity just found its counterattack." Outside the laboratory, in the streets of Seoul, people were starting to recover. Hospital admission rates were dropping. The modified virus was spreading, but instead of causing illness, it was making people stronger. The Nexus had tried to destroy humanity by attacking what they thought was our greatest weakness. Instead, they had given us a key to unlock our greatest potential. Now the question was, could Earth prepare enough before the aliens arrived? The next 6 days would determine the fate of both species. Commander Park Do-hyun stood in the military command center beneath Seoul, watching as screens displayed the approaching Nexus fleet. 5 days remained until their arrival. The room buzzed with activity as officers coordinated with military forces worldwide. "Show me the latest defense positions," he ordered. The main screen changed to show a global map. Green dots marked Earth's military installations, while red dots showed the predicted landing zones for the Nexus ships. Dr. Choi Sung-ho, the military's top biotechnology expert, entered the command center with Dr. Han Jae-yun. They carried tablets showing the latest test results from the modified virus. "Commander," Sung-ho said, "we have good news. The modified virus works even better than we hoped. In laboratory tests, it completely overwhelms Nexus cell samples. Their immune systems have no defense against it." Jae-yun added, "Their mistake was living in completely sterile environments. They never developed the biological defenses that humans have. Now their weapon has become their weakness." The command center's alert system suddenly activated. A new message from the Nexus appeared on all screens. "Your biological resistance is noted but irrelevant. We bring superior technology. Surrender now or face extinction." Park smiled slightly. "They don't know about the modified virus yet. That's our advantage." In the laboratory below, Kim Hai-jin worked with teams from around the world through video calls. Scientists from America, Europe, Asia, and Africa coordinated their efforts to produce the modified virus in large quantities. "The delivery system is ready," Hai-jin reported to Jae-yun when she returned. We can release the modified virus into their ship's air filtration systems as soon as they enter Earth's atmosphere. Dr. Lee Min-soo rushed into the lab, holding new test results. The latest human trials are complete. The modified virus not only strengthens our immune systems, it's improving human health in ways we never expected. Cancer rates are dropping. Autoimmune diseases are disappearing. In another part of the complex, Ki Ta-1 coordinated with hospitals worldwide. Recovery rates were now above 90%. Humans weren't just surviving the alien virus, they were becoming stronger and healthier than ever before. Commander Park called an emergency meeting with all key team members. As they gathered around the conference table, he displayed the latest satellite images. The Nexus fleet has split into 3 groups. They plan to attack multiple continents simultaneously. How many ships? Jae-yun asked. 15 large vessels, each likely carrying thousands of troops. Park pointed to the orbital projections. They'll enter the atmosphere in waves, probably targeting major cities first. Sung-ho opened his laptop, showing complex diagrams. We've modified our air defense systems to deploy the virus. As soon as their ships begin descent, they'll fly through clouds of it. Their air filters will do the rest of the work for us. The room fell quiet as everyone considered what was coming. Humanity had never faced a threat like this before, but they had also never been so united or so well prepared. There's something else you should know, Hai-jin said, looking up from her computer. We've detected communications between the Nexus ships. They're arguing about whether to proceed with the invasion. Some of them are already showing symptoms. Park nodded. They're not as united as they want us to think. Their perfect society has weaknesses they don't even understand. Outside the military complex, Seoul continued its daily life. The streets were full again as recovered patients returned to work. In hospitals, doctors marveled at how their patients were getting healthier every day. The Nexus had tried to destroy humanity with a virus. Instead, they had given Earth the greatest medical breakthrough in history. Now the question was, would it be enough to stop the invasion? The first Nexus ship entered Earth's atmosphere at dawn. It appeared over Seoul as a massive dark shape that blocked out the morning sun. 4 more ships followed, their metal surfaces reflecting golden sunlight as they descended through the clouds. In the military command center, Commander Park Do-hyun watched the main screen as similar scenes played out over other major cities worldwide. Defense systems are ready, he reported. All units are in position. Dr. Han Jae-yun stood beside him, monitoring medical data from her tablet. The modified virus was already released into the upper atmosphere, waiting for the Nexus ships to pass through it. Their air filtration systems will pull in the virus automatically, she explained to the military leaders. They designed their ships to be perfectly clean environments. That will be their downfall. The main screen suddenly lit up with a transmission from the lead Nexus ship. Their biological warfare specialist appeared, a tall, gray-skinned being with large, dark eyes. The alien looked confused as it studied readings from Earth's surface. "This is impossible," the specialist said, its artificial voice translator showing signs of stress. "Your population shows no signs of the expected deterioration. You should be dying, not thriving." Dr. Lee Min-soo stepped forward, addressing the alien directly. "Your virus didn't work the way you planned. Human immune systems are different from yours. We evolved alongside diseases for millions of years. That made us stronger, not weaker." The Nexus specialist's large eyes widened. On screens behind it, other aliens rushed about in what looked like panic. Some were coughing, a sound that should have been impossible in their sterile environment. Kim Hai-jin monitored data from atmospheric sensors. "The modified virus has reached their ships," she reported. "Their air systems are spreading it through every level." The Nexus specialist suddenly stumbled, catching itself against a control panel. "What have you done? Our sensors detect biological agents entering our ships, but they're not our weapon anymore. They're changed." Jae-yun took the main microphone. "Your virus taught our bodies new tricks. Now we're sharing those lessons with you. Perhaps it's time your species learned that sterile perfection isn't the answer. Life needs challenges to grow stronger. Around the world, reports came in of Nexus ships stopping their descent. Some began to rise back into the atmosphere. The aliens' perfectly ordered invasion was falling into chaos as the modified virus spread through their ranks. The specialist's image flickered as it fought to maintain composure. This is not possible. We eliminated all diseases from our world. We achieved perfect health. No, Jai-Yun replied firmly. You achieved perfect vulnerability. Your bodies forgot how to adapt, how to fight, how to grow stronger. Humanity never forgot those lessons. In the command center, Commander Park received updates from global defense forces. No Nexus ship had managed to land. Their crews were too busy dealing with the first illness they had experienced in generations. The specialist's final transmission showed other aliens in the background, clearly struggling with symptoms their bodies had never learned to fight. We must retreat. This world is not what we thought. You are not what we thought. As the Nexus ships climbed back into space, leaving Earth's atmosphere behind, Ki Ta-1 checked the latest medical data from around the world. Recovery rates are now at 98%, he announced. And the enhanced immune response is showing signs of being hereditary. This isn't just a cure, it's an evolution. Outside, the sun broke fully through the clouds where the alien ships had been. Seoul's citizens pointed and stared at the retreating shapes in the sky, not yet knowing how close humanity had come to extinction, or how much stronger they had become because of it. Kim Hae-jin watched her computer screen as data poured in from space monitoring stations worldwide. The Nexus fleet hung in low Earth orbit, their ships moving erratically. The modified virus, now called the Phoenix Protocol, had spread through their entire fleet in just hours. In the command center, Commander Park Do-hyun coordinated with global defense forces. The Nexus ships are losing formation, he reported. Their crews can barely operate their vessels. They've never experienced illness before. They don't know how to handle it. Dr. Han Jai-Yun studied medical readings from the alien ships. The Phoenix Protocol was affecting the Nexus exactly as they had hoped. Their perfectly sterile bodies had no defense against this evolved version of their own weapon. Their communication systems are active, a technician announced. They're broadcasting on all frequencies. The main screen came to life. The Nexus biological warfare specialist appeared again, but now it looked distinctly unwell. Its gray skin had a sickly tinge, and its large eyes were unfocused. What you have done to us. The specialist struggled to speak. It's spreading through our entire fleet. Our crews are failing. How did you transform our perfect weapon? Dr. Lee Min-soo stepped forward. We didn't transform it. Our bodies did. Human immune systems learned from your virus and improved it. The Phoenix Protocol isn't just a weapon. It's evolution in action. Around the world, military forces prepared for the possibility that some Nexus ships might still attempt a landing. But the aliens were in no condition to fight. Their perfectly ordered society had never faced a challenge like this. Ki Ta-1 monitored global health data from his station. The modified virus has spread to every corner of Earth now, he reported. But in humans, it's only making us stronger. Cancer rates are down 90%. Autoimmune diseases are disappearing. Even the common cold can't survive in our enhanced immune systems. Commander Park received urgent messages from space tracking stations. 3 Nexus ships are powering up their main engines, he announced. They're trying to escape. They won't get far, Jai-Yun said quietly. The Phoenix Protocol is in their air systems now. It will spread through their entire civilization when they return home. They'll have to learn to adapt, just like we did. In the laboratory, Hae-jin made an important discovery. Dr. Han, look at this, she called out. The protocol isn't just affecting their bodies. It's changing their brain chemistry. Their neural patterns are becoming more human. Jai-Yun studied the data. The virus was teaching the Nexus something they had forgotten long ago. How to adapt, how to change, how to become stronger through adversity. Their pursuit of perfection had made them rigid. Now they would have to remember how to evolve. The remaining Nexus ships began to retreat, their movements clumsy and uncoordinated. On the main screen, the specialist made one final transmission. "We sought to perfect ourselves by eliminating all biological challenges," it said, its voice showing signs of emotional change that would have been impossible before. "Instead, we made ourselves vulnerable. Perhaps there is something to learn from Earth after all." As the alien fleet disappeared into space, Commander Park turned to his team. "They'll be back someday," he said, "but not as conquerors. When they return, they'll be different. The Phoenix Protocol will see to that." Outside, the skies above Seoul cleared of alien ships. In hospitals around the world, doctors marveled at how their patients were getting healthier every day. The Nexus had tried to eliminate what they saw as humanity's greatest weakness. Instead, they had helped unlock humanity's greatest strength, the power to adapt and grow stronger from every challenge. 6 months after the Nexus retreat, Dr. Han Jae-yun stood at a podium in the newly established Global Immunological Defense Initiative headquarters in Seoul. The modern building gleamed in the morning sun, its design representing the merger of human innovation and biological advancement. "Today marks the beginning of a new era in human health," she announced to the assembled crowd of scientists, doctors, and world leaders. "The Phoenix Protocol has changed human medicine forever. Diseases that once seemed unbeatable are now becoming memories." In the front row, Kim Hae-jin sat next to Commander Park Do-hyun, both now recognized as heroes of the Nexus crisis. Hae-jin's discovery of the key protein sequence had earned her a Nobel Prize nomination, while Park's leadership during the invasion had made him the head of Earth's new Space Defense Command. Dr. Lee Min-soo approached the podium with the latest global health report. "Cancer rates worldwide have dropped by 98%, he announced. "Autoimmune diseases are virtually extinct. Average human lifespan has increased by 30 years, and we're still discovering new benefits." The audience included representatives from every nation on Earth. The Nexus threat had united humanity in ways that once seemed impossible. Old enemies now worked together in research labs, sharing discoveries and building on each other's breakthroughs. Ki Ta-won, now leading the Global Disease Monitoring Network, shared his own findings. "The Phoenix Protocol isn't just curing diseases," he explained. "It's teaching our bodies to become stronger. Each generation born after the crisis shows even better immune responses than their parents." In the secure command center beneath the building, technicians monitored deep space for any sign of the Nexus. 3 months ago, they had received a brief transmission from the alien civilization. The message was different from their earlier communications, less artificial, more emotional. "We are changing," the message had said. "Your protocol has taught us what we forgot long ago. Perhaps in time, we can learn from each other." Dr. Choi Sung-ho, who had helped weaponize the modified virus, now led a team studying peaceful applications of the technology. "The Nexus thought they had achieved perfection," he told the audience. "But true perfection isn't about eliminating challenges. It's about learning to overcome them and grow stronger." After the ceremony, Jae-yun walked through the medical wing of the facility. Patients who once faced terminal illnesses now left hospitals completely cured. Children born after the crisis showed immunity to diseases that had plagued humanity for millennia. Commander Park joined her, carrying new reports from the space monitoring stations. "We detected more ships leaving the Nexus home system," he said, "but they're not headed toward Earth. They're exploring, learning, adapting, just like we do." Jae-yun smiled. "They wanted to make us more like them. Instead, we made them more like us. Maybe that's the real victory here." In the research labs, Hae-jin worked with an international team studying new applications of the protocol. The technology that had saved Earth from invasion was now helping humanity reach new heights of medical achievement. Diseases that had once terrified humanity became challenges to overcome, each one making the human race stronger. As the sun set over Seoul, Jia-yun looked out at the city from her office window. The world had changed in ways no one could have predicted. The Nexus had come to Earth looking for weakness, but they had found strength instead. Their attempt to destroy humanity had only proved what humans had always known deep down, that facing challenges and adapting to them was the true path to advancement. The stars were no longer a source of fear. They were a reminder that humanity had faced its greatest test and emerged stronger. Whatever challenges the future held, Earth would be ready.